Oh,
Got a lot of you.
Hello, everybody.
hello, everybody. It must mean it is Sunday evening in the United Kingdom because it is Let's Talk Trek. Once again, another week has flown by. We were only a couple of days ago with Tony Lee.
Good evening,
Yes,
Gary.
it was nice to see Tony last week, wasn't it? Hey, Gary.
Lovely to see Tony.
Hey, Michael, how was the cruise?
Michael. Good evening, Michael.
Or are you
Absolutely.
possibly
There he
on the
is.
cruise? I don't know how long it goes for. Hey,
Oh,
Val.
So let's do the usual thing. If you are watching for the first time, you've not seen this show before, there is about 200 back episodes to watch. Congratulations, you have got your next month of June.
where have you been?
Excellent. So my name's Dan. I'm from the Trekkies Guys of the Galaxy, which is a Facebook page that you've probably seen, and we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter, and we're a YouTube channel, and
We're everywhere.
you're sort of everywhere. This side, now because this is all mirrored, I have to get this right. This way, that's fine. That's Carl. He's also from Trekkies Guide with me. Underneath me, it's James. Hello, James.
Hello. I'm from the Riker's Beard. That's also a Facebook page, but it's also a real spaceship that has real chairs and things.
With a fantastic registry number.
True that. And then
It's an older cold, sir, but it works out.
I'm Richard. I'm from the Committee for the Liberation and Integration of Terrifying
Organisms.
Them and their
And their
rehabilitation into society.
excellent. Right, Carl, I'm going to leave you in charge of clicking through guest comments for tonight.
Okay. Evening, Mark. Always a pleasure. Linda.
Hey, Linda. It's daylight savings time in the USA. Well, we've got to make our savings where we can.
Now, we have daylight savings time at the end of the month, which is when we're going
Hey,
down
David.
to Margate to see Richard. So we'll be going down just as the clocks change. So
And me.
Oh, is that when you're coming? That's the most confusing time of the year for me.
Stephen. Evening, Stephen.
Hey, Stephen.
Hey, buddy.
Christoph. How you doing,
Christoph.
chap?
Oh,
I just
you
want to
two-
Don't
confirm
cross the
conflict.
streams, Christoph.
Oh, no,
I
you
just-
don't want to cross the streams.
catch us later. We'll be
Back
fine.
later this next time. Who are you
Although,
watching
Christoph,
instead of us?
Christoph, as you are such a loyal viewer, I must ask how we are not being prioritised over the other conflict.
I bet you it's the Trekkie girls. I bet you they're doing this thing to steal our viewership again.
Cindy.
Oh,
Good
Cindy.
evening, Cindy.
Hey, Cindy. Oh, we can't wait to hear all about the
Oh,
cruise.
yes.
Yeah.
Have you got any pictures you can send to us, Cindy?
Can
Did you
come
meet
on,
Mike?
Cindy, and talk to us? Like a
Yeah,
Mike,
real
Cindy,
live guest.
Did you
Cindy,
steal
would
any
you like to
DNA?
come on and tell us all about it?
Yeah.
We can send
I
you a
wanna see
link
what-
to get in on the stream.
And Cindy, did you bump into Mike? Because Mike was also on the cruise.
Genuinely, Cindy, let us know. We'll send you a link and you can jump in on the stream and tell us all about it.
So while these guys are nattering about cruises, I'm going to quickly run through how the show's going to work tonight. So we've got a variety of features, and if it's your first time joining us, we can run through our features. It's a bit of a news, bit of features, bit of everything. We are going to be talking Picard Season 2, Episode 2. So if you have not yet watched Picard, we will give you a warning. At that point, go away. Come back later.
To get through.
So
Richard's
first
got his
feature
pad
of
out.
the evening, is when we get James to have a couple of drinks. So let's do this.
Hooray!
Hey! Now then, James,
Good
before you
evening,
start
dear
the
viewer.
cocktail,
This,
you
eve-
just do-
this evening's cocktail is known as the Discovery. This is one for you Discovery fans. For this, you will need a tumbler. You'll notice I've already got some ice in there and a stirring mechanism. You will then need 2 parts of Michael Burnham's Tears.
They are in plentiful supply, I
There
believe.
we go, plenty of those in there. You will then need 1/2 part of Tilly's Tears. Here they are. You will then need 1/2 part of Stamets's Tears.
Hang on a
These are a
minute.
bit
I
more
couldn't-
sort of, I'm not sure what's going on there.
James, let me just translate for you. Half a pot stabs his tears.
Could I just check, James? Usually you give us an alternative if we don't have those particular fluids available.
I'll give you an alternative when I've finished mixing.
Oh, okay.
Finally, You need one part of Saru's tears. Look at those.
Are they?
He
I'm
cries
glad
milk.
he said tears.
Give it a little bit of a swizzle.
I'm a little bit worried about this one. I feel James may become quite upset.
Okay, James. And for us mere mortals, what's inside it?
If you don't have the tears of the crew of the Discovery, I would use tequila, triple sec, lime juice, and coconut.
Oh, that sounds much better.
It's quite refreshing, a little bit tropical.
Excellent. Right. Thank you very much for that, James. Now, before we progress onto actual Star Trek stuff, can we get you to do your job, please?
Let's Talk Trek is not endorsed, sponsored, or affiliated with CBS Studios Incorporated, Paramount Pictures Corp, or indeed the Star Trek franchise. Star Trek registered trademark and its various marks are trademarks of CBS Studios Incorporated.
Thank you very much. There we go.
I said, boys, we're in the clear.
Woo-hoo! Say what we want.
Any similarity to persons alive or dead, fictional or otherwise, is entirely coincidental.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough. That's awkward. Right. So, what a week. Been a busy old week in Star Trek again.
It's been a great week.
Good. Yeah, it has been a great week. Right. We're going to go into Star Trek Picard Season 2. But we'll do collectibles first, because we're going to Carl's itching to do with collectibles. So let's do Collectible Corner first of all.
So, this week, our dear viewer, tying into Picard, the latest season, you may or may not have noticed a certain starship with a particularly nostalgic name has appeared in Picard Season 2, and that is the Stargazer. Now, I don't have, unfortunately, as much as I wish I did. I'm sure it'll be released soon. I don't have the current on-screen Stargazer. However, what I do have is the original fantastic USS Stargazer.
That's one of Eagle Moss's better.
It's absolutely amazing. Now I'm going to dismount it.
So is it Eagle Moss or we Hero Collector this week?
This one is, I believe, still Eagle Moss.
Yeah.
Let me just see if I can get my camera to focus properly. There we go. And it's,
that was a fine dismount there.
Your camera's picked it up well, and one of the things about this, and as the Enterprise C as well, they've done well, is actually bringing out the colour, because it's so subtle. If you didn't do it right, you'd miss all the detail, and they've got it so they nailed it with that. It looks lovely.
Absolutely, it's a gorgeous piece. And now we'll give the obviously the stats and the specs as we always do. So this originally, when it was released, it was issue number 19, I believe, of the original subscription for Eagle Moss starships, and as with all the others, retailed at let's see, 999 pence. Now, my understanding now, through a little bit of careful consumer research, plus postage.
No, postage was included, I think.
It was actually, yes, in the original subscription, it was included.
Was it?
Yeah, I never paid the extra postage. Unlike the current subscription stuff that you get. Through some careful consumer research, eBay, I've managed to deduce that this particular model has actually doubled in value as a minimum.
The first 20 issues of Eagle Moss, I think all of them have pretty much doubled. The first 20 ones. They really have.
mint in box with the magazine in great condition is now worth anywhere upwards of 1,800 pence.
Wow.
Outstanding.
So, Cole, if like me, you've thrown the box away, what's it worth?
Silly. Probably about its original value.
Right. So I've broken even.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You've definitely not lost out. And let's face it, if you've got this model, you haven't lost out anyway, even if it's worth nothing anymore. Because look at it, it's gorgeous.
It is a lovely one.
Now,
Really
the
nice.
interesting thing with the Stargazers, the Stargazer model you've got there, sticks one of Gene's initial principles for Starship design, which was nacelles had to be in pairs.
Mm-hmm.
You have multiples thereof, but they had to be an even number was Gene's overriding principle on the
First canon ship that broke that rule, Mr. Mason.
Future Enterprise, Dave, all good things.
Well done.
Dreadnought class. You kind of do so. Right.
Nice. You've got to throw these
Actually,
questions. You've
it's
got to throw these
Galaxy
pop
X
quizzes
class.
in there, though.
Yeah, there we go. Now, we're going to talk Picard very soon. Before we do, I wanted to just run through a couple of news articles first, and then we'll get into the meat of Picard, if that's okay with you guys.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Let's put you back in the limelight.
So, first up, they've sort of cropped up today, and I want to say a big thank you to the guys from Trek Core for digging these up. Some logos have appeared that were initially going to be used for various Star Trek shows. These were ones that went into production, were thought about, were considered, and then potentially be put onto a reject pile. But they have surfaced. I thought it might be fun to share these and see what people think of them. So I'm going to throw these up here. So this was the original production of one for
that's terrible.
Oh, dear.
TNG, which, as you can see, is quite unique.
That's like
Please.
sort of, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air style.
I really hope that was someone who didn't actually end up working on the show.
I tell you what,
Has this been certified? It sounds like it might be a wind up. Got to be honest.
no,
with you.
it's actually true. It makes me sort of think it should probably have the voice of Patrick Moore over the top. It's like Games Master.
Games Master, how do I beat the Kobayashi Maru?
Right, let's carry on.
Very good. Very good. Oh, my Lord.
Base 9.
Ugh.
No. Just no.
Obviously, some of the background images were a filler because they didn't have the stuff. This is just them practicing with fonts and stuff. So,
Just in the comments, Carl Cindy said she's ready for you, so please ping her the link.
Ooh, excellent stuff.
Well,
I'd love to hear about the cruise.
Generations, the Next Generation movie.
Jesus wept. What is this meant to be the first Generations film? What?
Yep.
Ugh.
Voyager.
I honestly don't know what the problem is with all of these. I think they're all perfectly adequate.
The Voyager one, that first one wasn't bad.
Ooh.
That one's terrible.
That looks like
Again.
a pinball machine.
It's a thing of beauty. Don't know what your
And
problem is.
First Contact or Generations 2, as it was.
Ooh, I'm glad they called it First Contact.
What have we got in the background there? What do you see there?
One of the Borg Queen's tube things that comes out and lets her connect. Yeah. Okay, Cindy, hopefully I've just sent you the link to join our chat. If not, we're going to have someone completely random join us any moment, gents.
Now, while Cindy's joining on, we'll talk about the next bit of our news feature. So it is, in a couple of weeks' time, the 25th anniversary of the Trekkies documentary, which has been re-released on Blu-ray. Do you remember the Trekkies documentary, boys?
Yes.
Never seen it.
Yeah,
Never seen
I've seen them both. There's Trekkies, and I've forgotten what the second one's called now.
There
Trekkies
is.
2.
It was
Trekkies
a
too,
documentary produced by or hosted by
Denise
Denise
Crosby.
Crosby.
They're both very good.
I believe they're actually on Netflix.
Well,
Yeah,
I thought we would
they are.
put up the trailer for it. And the trailer is in public domain. It is just the trailer. We're not showing the thing. Here we go.
I do consider myself half Vulcan. I did draw the line low at having my ears surgically altered.
It began as a vision of the future.
Best thing I've ever done in my life.
Star Trek, the blueprint for a better mankind.
It became a phenomenon
I've been asked to marry people.
that has touched millions.
Everybody's seen the picture of Barbara Adams.
I wore my uniform just as any other officer in the military would wear theirs.
Star Trek is part entertainment and part philosophy.
Now, they've got their own movie. Trekkies,
I'd rather be known like as a spiner femme.
I like that.
Who's your favorite captain? Kirk. He's a stud.
They're devoted.
This is my third convention.
20 or 30 or more.
50 or 60.
They're misunderstood.
Welcome to Starbase Dental.
So, this is reception.
This is where the patients check in.
It's not like any other dentist office I've ever been in.
And they may just be the most intelligent life form you've ever met.
This costume is the uniform that I've designed from the film project that I'm working on, and it should be noted that this is only a prototypical version.
I am guard 48, and this is guard number 28.
That's right.
16 to go, please. Would you like cheese on a superstar or without?
Whoa!
Without cheese?
Have you ever served a Klingon before?
Yes.
We actually take turns being different characters, and it helps our
relationship, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
How's it going out with different people?
Trekkies.
Yeah, I am one of those people. Oh my God.
That ad. Can you hear me? Am I back? The mic's back on. So that advert doesn't really do it justice.
No.
Generally, when I first saw this documentary, I've watched it before I'd been to a convention. I had a few friends that were casual Star Trek friends, and it was something in Trekkies that made me realize there's a certain aspect of your character that's afforded to you if you're into Star Trek, and that was because I hadn't realized all the various chapters of the Federation in America that's more structured and organized was over here. The amount they do for charity, it was just mind-blowing. And there was, I won't spoil it, but there's a couple of very touching stories in there that were like, wow, yeah, that's the philosophy of Star Trek. These are people who don't just enjoy the show, they live the philosophy. And that's what I took away from the documentary. It's not to laugh at the freaks, if you will. It's to celebrate the inclusive culture and the kindness among Star Trek fans. It's absolutely wonderful.
I think Shatner's comment there summed it up. It's part entertainment, part philosophy.
Yeah.
If you really do adopt it, then that's what it is, genuinely.
It was also strange because obviously that's 25 years old now. And it was
Sorry, just to interrupt, Cindy, if you check your Facebook Messenger requests, you should see it in there. Because obviously we're not friends on Facebook, as much as I regret that. But yes, you should see it in your message requests.
Yes. So let me go back to that's 25 years old, but there's certain bits of convention life that you can still recognise in that. Conventions obviously come on and have polished and a bit more moved on with the times, but there's certainly a lot of it I did recognise, which was quite good fun. So. Yes, that's coming out on Blu-ray next month. You'll be able to buy it from All Good Blu-ray.
Well worth a watch. Wonderful program.
You say it's on Netflix, Richard?
It was, yeah. I don't know if it is anymore, but
right.
I was going to say we do a watch along.
Well,
both
Cindy
Trekkies and the sequel Trekkies 2 were both on Netflix.
While Cindy is coming on board because she's still making her way on, let's move on to our next slide, and then we'll talk to Cindy, then we'll talk to Picard. What's this, boys?
That is Anthony Mount after I extracted his DNA.
Yeah, you took a bit too much from him there, Richard. I think
too much DNA there. I'm sorry about that.
Was this the flashback in the Time Crystals episode?
It is. So the interesting thing is, obviously, we know this is how Pike is going to end up.
And now he knows how it's going to end up.
And now he knows how he's going to end up. So we know this is how Pike ends up. We know that Strange New Worlds essentially is going to lead to this point. It has to lead to this point. That's at some point got to be the end goal.
What was the timeline? Because Strange New Worlds is supposed to be set straight after, almost straight after Discovery Season 2, but isn't it supposed to be about 5 years pre-Kirk Enterprise?
Yes.
Well, Discovery was meant to be 10 years pre-Kirk, wasn't it? So we've got, if we're 4 years into Disco now, we've got a 6-year window left.
But we know that this is the point where Pike's going to end up. We know that this is the end result. And keeping that in mind, have you seen the Strange New World trailer?
Oh yes,
the teaser. Yes,
I haven't seen it yet. So if you're going to run it, Cindy, no, it's not. It's not in the chat room. It's been sent to you directly by Carl.
Yeah. So Cindy, if you look in your Facebook Messenger, you've got that little area of people that you don't know that say it's a message request. You should be able to see the link in that sent by myself.
Now, we are going to roll VT on the trailer for Strange New World. Richard, I'm not sure if you want to see it or not, so if you don't, please close your ears and eyes, and we'll come back to you in 2 minutes' time, okay? James, would you like to instruct the rolling of the VT?
Roll VT.
Chris. I need you back, Captain.
No matter how many stars there are in the sky, no matter how many galaxies swirl beyond our own, no matter what the mathematical probabilities or the number of times we say, we are not alone in the universe. Our first visit from the stars is always the province of children's stories and science fiction. Until one day, it isn't.
You're very right there, Carol. He is handsome.
Apt moment. Could you put that up again? Could you put the shot of Anson Mount with his DNA extracted with the comment handsome there again? That's beautiful.
Would someone care to screenshot that for future reference?
Now, there's a lesson we can all learn from this, isn't there?
Don't
DNA.
Now, there was in that clip, you'll notice at the beginning it was, Captain, we need you back. And I'm gonna put my prediction in for it, how it's gonna be, which is he knows that he's gonna end up in the chair. So which is why I had the picture of the chair.
Yes.
And essentially his way of trying to avoid it or to do it was to run away from Starfleet.
No, I'm afraid not, because when he took that time crystal, he was specifically told by taking the time crystal, it seals that fate. He knows he can't get away from it.
But
I think that initial part is him coming to terms with it.
So I'm kind of in agreement with Carl here. I reckon he's been on a massive bender.
Yep. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Like, yeah, if you knew that was going to happen to you, you'd make full use of your legs, wouldn't you? You know, you'd ride.
Let's face it, you've just been shown your future.
Yeah.
It's not the best in the world, and you've then fended off a universal threat by sending some of your shipmates into the future where you'll never ever see them again, and then you've got to just deny all knowledge of them.
Hold up in some remote cabin with a blackjack deer and a load of hookers. That's where you've been.
The question is, having just seen the trailer, and I mean, Richard's just seen the trailer for the first time, so it's a good one to get the guest on it. What excites you more, the Picard trailer first time you saw that, or that Strange New World trailer?
Different.
That Strange New World one was very underwhelming. Sorry, the Picard one was much better. Yeah,
they excite me in different ways. The Picard trailer, when I first saw that, was the fact that we found out Q was coming back. John Delancey, who's not going to love that. But the Strange New Worlds one, the thing that I love about that is just that within the trailer you see 3 or 4 literal Strange New Worlds. And it looks like they may well have gone all out on the budget for displaying those Strange New Worlds to us.
I'm going to have to say no. I didn't. Don't get me wrong. It's new Star Trek, and I can watch it, and I'm looking forward to Strange New Worlds. But I was really hoping we wouldn't have a highbrow kind of arty-farty trailer for Strange New Worlds, because I'm hoping it's going to be Monster of the Week, and it's going to be I was hoping for a bit more punch.
I think just the fact that within the trailer we've seen 3 or 4 potential destinations for like Planet of the Week, so to speak, I think it lends itself to that.
Now, interestingly, Richard talked about Monster of the Week. So CBS have, in a press release this week, said that although Monster of the Week is the sort of theme for Strange New Worlds, and that is definitely one of the ones that they're looking for. The actual quote they've used is, and I'm just going to find it now.
Please, no more
quickly.
anomalies of the week. We're getting fed up of them.
So now the voice in it is the voice of number one. You may have noticed that.
Yes.
Number one. Strange New Worlds is going to be Monster of the Week, but it's also going to have a bit of a story arc running through season one. So, in the same way that some of the TNG episodes had a bit of an arc that sort of went through them, you know,
more so like DS9. DS9 had story of the week, monster of the week, planet of the week, ship episode, planet episode, whatever, but also an overarching theme.
DS9 was the groundbreaker in that, but I actually think Enterprise was the one because I thought they made the transition very well.
Yeah,
they for the first two seasons there was a couple of two-parters. Then you had the Xindi, the whole of season 3, and then in season 4 we had it going really kind of, you know, you weren't sure when the arc was, because you always knew when the arc was coming and going. You knew the Xindi was for the whole season. You knew a two-part was, but season 3 you were always a bit unsure where it was going, and that's kind of set the standard.
So the quote is, producers have said that even though the show is episodic and will have a Planet of the Week format, there is a larger serialized arc that will also be a part of season 1.
Oh, please, let's not involve an anomaly.
I'm kind of hoping that overarching theme is more to do with the characters this time round. Because let's face it, one of the whole reasons this show is going to exist is because the fans had an outpouring of affection for certain characters.
Yeah, apparently Carol was the forerunner for that outpouring of affection towards a certain character. Yeah.
Yeah. Handsome Anson.
Well, I'm sure that if Anson comes over to the UK, that Carol and Trekkie will be first in line to interview him. So,
Dan, can we go back to the teaser trailer and just play the last 4 seconds again?
No.
Oh, go on.
Well, that was very direct.
Essentially, James, I don't have the ability to fast forward through it. We'd have to watch the entire thing again.
Well, that would be a shame.
What I was looking for there was that beautiful teaser sting of the original series theme with a bit of a 50s sound at the end. I thought that was.
We are running out of time to talk about Picard, though. We'll point that out.
Well, just one last thing on Strange New Worlds. Then I believe so. When Mandalorian first came on, there was a big rave about the way that they did the visual effects for the actors to work in.
They had big LED screens they had behind them.
My understanding is that Strange New Worlds is the first Trek series to make use of that technology.
Well, I think we've talked about this on the show, boring production things before, about the way that the Mandalorian was making it lost and all the rest of it. I've done a bit more research into that since, and although yes, they are kind of making it lost, these OLED screens they've got are obviously Disney is shooting all their stuff on these screens. So although they've invested in them for the Mandalorian, they're going to be repurposed and reused. Yeah. And you know, watching the Mandalorian, genuinely, like you kind of reach the peak there. It's not how can you kind of get better? So I'm not surprised if Paramount have taken up on the.
My understanding is that Strange New Worlds has been shot in a similar way with the virtual backgrounds.
And although we are predominantly a Star Trek show, I'm going to say this: that in regards to the other franchise,
you can say it, Dan. Don't worry, you won't burn on screen.
In regards to Star Wars, I am really excited for Obi-Wan. The trailer for that looks immense. And do you know what? I think we got it's just really not. It's quite an exciting couple of months because you got Obi-Wan, you've got Picard, Strange New World, and it's like, oh, you know what? There's actually some really good viewing coming on. I'm really excited for all this sort of hit at the same sort of time. So
take yourself back 10 years, Dan, to where would that take us? 2012, and we had no Star Trek in production apart from the J.J. Abrams films.
Yep.
And think, you know, what a luxury, a glut of quality stuff we now have.
Although
2012, 4 or 5 Star Trek shows in simultaneous production.
Yeah.
2012 is when a lot of us met each other, and you know what? That's a very special year for me. So I like 2012. It's a good.
Yes, but in terms of Star Trek in production, none.
Yeah. I got C5 captains on a stage.
All right, okay. Go back to 2011 then.
Oh, well, that's a rubbish year. Right, moving on. Thank you very much for that, James. Right, As we haven't got Cindy yet, we'll go quickly talk about Picard. Now, before we
Well,
talk
Cindy hasn't even seen our message
Picard.
yet, so we may have to take the risk and post the link in the chat and just trust that the rest of our viewers won't take the mick with it.
Oh, do it. Do it.
Should we take that risk,
Do it.
James?
Just do it.
I'm just going to do it. Oh, there it goes. Oh, no. It's gone to all 4 streams. And please, viewers, don't take the mick.
Both of our viewers might join.
You can
look at Dan. Look at Dan. What have I done?
Right. Basically, we'd like anyone who's been on the cruise to please follow that link, jump on, and tell us about it.
Because let's face it, even if
quickly,
you click the link, it needs me to click them into the stream.
I've got 17 points about Picard to talk about.
Well, let's get in there. We've only got 28 minutes and 54 seconds left, Richard.
Oh, hello.
Michael, don't laugh out loud. Come in on the chat and tell us about the cruise. We want to hear about it.
Yes. Get in here,
Right,
Michael.
While people are populating the streams, we're going to talk Picard. So we have to play the Picard spoiler warning. If you have not seen Picard Season 2, Episode 2, this is your chance to turn off. Go away.
What have you been doing? Why haven't you watched it?
Why? You've had 3 days. Even in the UK, you've had 3 days.
Oh, wow. Right. Let's start, first of all. We'll do a deep dive.
It's amazing.
Into our episode review. Before we do, let's sort of turn it on its head this week. Marks out of 10, boys.
10. 10 out of 10.
I give it 8.
I'm going to give it a 9.
I give it 10.
Well, you're both wrong. And here's the reason why. Patrick Stewart is awesome. He displays his acting chops. We've got Q, we've got fantastic effects, we've got great plot, we've got drama. Everything's in there.
Wasn't the new Borg Queen amazing? Wasn't she proper creepy? She was. She was amazing.
And the Chuckle Brothers. They were brilliant.
Yeah, Chuckle Brothers, great. Love the Chuckle Brothers.
Do you guys watch the Ready Room with Will Wheaton?
To me.
If we're talking creepy things, let's do the first creepy thing, Joey.
Okay.
Harvey.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. This is returning. This is the actor that we saw for the first time in a short trek, who went psycho and killed everyone on Mars. And he does do creepy very well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, isn't he the guy who originally did like an Android makeup demo at one of the conventions somewhere?
Well, he sort of looks a bit like Michael Fassbinder in the Alien Covenant films, doesn't he? He's
Michael Fassbender.
David's given it the episode a 9 and says he remembers that when there was nothing between the TOS cartoon and the motion picture, and he survives on James Bish books and the yearly annual.
I had no idea how old you were, David.
David, I didn't think you were that old. You always come across as so much younger.
He does come across me. He certainly acts and drinks and talks younger than that, doesn't he?
We're talking, 1970 to 1979 there, aren't we?
Yeah.
Either that or he's got an exceptionally good memory.
Or he's got a picture in his attic that ages really differently.
So if we look... actually, if you can keep that slide up, because we had some discussion already about this off air. So we had a discussion between ourselves as to whose skull it was, which Ferengi it was. Was it Quark? Who was it? And I said it was the Grand. Yeah, I said it was the Nagus, and you can see the bottom right-hand corner there
in front.
The Nagus's staff.
Yep.
Yes, quite right. Yes, you can see it there.
It's inconceivable.
Now, I was trying to figure out from the view who this skull is, because it's got a finger in the back, and I tried to work this one out, but I couldn't figure it out.
No, I think that's a separate skull that you can see behind.
Behind Harvey here.
Yeah. No, that's one of the ones at the back.
Well,
I believe.
Can we see the painting as well? It's difficult.
Yeah, one of the ones on the back row that wasn't specifically mentioned by Q, I believe, was actually species 8472.
No.
Yeah, with the large cranium.
Yeah.
A friend of Michael Stevo just asked, are all androids the same? Well, it would imply from looking at this and looking at the model that takes Picard into the palace later on to meet the president. Yes, they are. They must be. It's the same sort of.
Well, they're all based on the android that was created by Bruce Maddox in season 1 for manning the Utopia Planitia yards and the evacuation of Romulus, aren't they? They're all based on that same android.
Now, did you notice that throughout this episode, obviously, the episode goes very much into the sort of darker side of what Picard could be. And obviously, we see the things with the skulls, and you see there was the bit where Q talks about whose skulls is whose. This is called Picard who's executed in the forest, But how everything in the room is just like a darker version of what we've already seen,
What I actually noticed about that scene was, and in fact, this particular episode, there are so many references to DS9.
Yeah.
So many. And in the teaser trailer, there was a huge reference to DS9 with the tablet. If they don't put Avery Brooks in this season somewhere for a cameo, they really have led us on.
I was surprised that we didn't see him on a poster. Like Kitchener, we need you. I honestly thought they would. I really did think.
Well, he was mentioned in the episode.
Yeah, because he was mentioned as being a general fighting. I can't remember who he was fighting now. He's fighting someone. Yeah, he's fighting on the front line. I really thought we'd have a Lord Kitchener. Him, and the
you
fact
got that reference to General Sisko. Each of the skulls that you described were all DS9 characters.
I think the fact that we haven't seen any image of him whatsoever. Sadly, Carl, I don't think we're going to see Avery Brooks. It's such a shame. I would like to see his evil jambalaya, but we're not going to.
I'm going to hold out hope.
Let's move on to our next slide. Okay.
I do like, by the way, the idea of having the skulls of your enemies in your office. So I'm going to take that up.
That's what I do. Yeah.
So when you cast judgment on people from now on, James, are you also going to request their head?
The price you pay for misbehaving in my courtroom is I collect your head.
You must now hand over your skull.
Now, here's your next slide, and this is when Picard is listening to his. I want to say almost his Nuremberg speech.
It's the reimagining, isn't it, of the intro speech? It's
Yeah. The chair, you'll notice, is very similar to Picard's chair in First Contact, in his ready room.
Yes.
That sort of same colour scheme of things. I noticed that sort of popped up quite quickly. Now, the book on his desk, I was trying to figure out what the reference to that was. It's got a big red sort of diamondy thing in the middle of it. And I assumed
Isn't that the one that was in Generations, his family album?
Oh, gosh, no, that's the internet.
Possibly.
No, here's the internet.
Oh, sorry. No.
Yeah, James keeps the internet on his
desk. Notice I've turned it off.
We didn't notice, but your camera quality did.
Yeah, I'm sure the big red book with a diamond is the same prop that was used in Generations when
the one we see in this image here, behind Picard.
Maybe.
Possibly, yeah. Good point, Jake Sisko. Good shout, Carol.
So, obviously, Picard gets to listen to his humans are the only species that deserve to live speech. And
actually, can we just go back to Carol's point there? I mean, with all respect to Sir Lofton, if the big Sisko reveal is Sir Lofton and not Avery Brooks, I'm going to have the raving arsehole if they palm us off with that.
No,
it's not a palm off. It's not a palm off.
Sir Lofton is a lovely guy.
He is. I like him as an actor as well.
He is. He's quality.
But if they do that, they pull the rug out like that.
While we're talking Sir Lofton, VTC Virtual TrekCon have got their thing coming up very soon, and they're doing an award ceremony, and Sir Lofton is very heavily involved in that. And if you get
we've just lost our nomination, haven't we? Thank you, Richard.
And if you get a chance to tune into Virtual TrekCon,
Lofton and I are close.
Anne-Marie, don't tell him.
Now, if Anne-Marie is listening,
Anne-Marie, we still love you.
Anne-Marie, we would like to be an award-winning show, and to win an award,
that would be nice.
It would
we
be
love Sir Lofton, but not as much as Anne-Marie.
Yeah, we've not won an award yet, Anne-Marie. So if you fancy making us win an award, not saying you should do, but
any award, we're not fussy. Look, musical.
James, I never realised how talented you were until that very moment.
Hang on, there we go.
I can't believe you actually managed to not play a triangle.
He tried his hardest.
Oh,
This week in the show, James tries to eat dinner with a tuning fork. Right. Next slide, please. Q.
Oh, how brilliant was John Delancey in this episode, though? Genuinely.
Right. I have a small little gripe with this bit.
You're not allowed. I'll turn you off.
Okay.
No, go on, you can try.
Let's move on then.
The striking of
gripe?
Picard.
Sorry?
The striking of Picard.
Yes.
Yes, but doesn't this hint that something else
when he
is
when he
wrong?
talks to someone. Yeah. So I
don't understand how that's a gripe, personally.
So this is the thing.
Mainly because
Dan's got a very good point here, and I this is alluding to what I suspect Picard has already picked up on it, and is going to be possibly undoing all the redemption of the episode, and that is that Q is ill somehow. It is what it feels like, and I don't think a Q who's in command of all his faculties would have struck Picard.
Now, John Delancey has said it in an interview this week that he was speaking on the Ready Room podcast, and he talks about Picard season 2 and says that he's in this to help Picard. He said that essentially his showing up is a personal gift to Picard. He says, I'm not dealing with everything, I'm only dealing with you. This is a personal gift, personally coming from me to you. And since I know you well enough, the only way you're going to get it is to experience it. I can't tell you, you're going to have to find out.
Well, it's a magic gift that these two both have when they're on stage together. And I've only ever come close once when John Delancey was on stage with Leonard Nimoy and did Spock versus Q, and that's as close as it's gotten. But do you remember last week, Carl, you spoke about how much the actor Patrick Stewart seemed to have a bit more zest in?
Very much second lease of life, yeah.
This week, it felt, and I think it was deliberate, it felt like it was kind of missing from the scenes with Q.
Yeah.
Like it drained. I mean, and it was when Picard just went, Q, I had enough of your bullshit. I'm too old, right, for this.
I think you're right. I think it was very deliberate. I think when you look at the two episodes back to back, how energetic and revitalized Picard was as a character, and then suddenly Q turns up and it's like, oh my God, not again.
So I'm going to say
no more. And he literally says it himself. He's like, no. It's like he thought he was beyond that. He was past it. And then suddenly...
I said this last week. This, I think, and my prediction is that season 2 of Picard, and maybe season 3, because season 3 has wrapped up production this week. They've wrapped it up this week.
And let's not forget that Delancey only wrapped a couple of weeks ago, so chances are he's still in season 3.
Now, I'm putting it forward that season 2, at least, is going to be a reimagining of Tapestry. I think this is Picard's chance to go back and
I think season 2 is going to end on a real cliffhanger that leaves us all waiting for next year.
Oh, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Let's have a look. So David says he thinks it definitely shows that Q's ill. Paul says that I think it would have been more Q if he'd slapped him with a glove.
I get that.
Now, a quick word for the costume department. Whose idea was it to put Picard in what is only described as a donkey jacket?
He's a 1950s spin man. Oh, yes.
That's the same one that he had in season 1, isn't it?
No,
very
this
similar, if not.
This one's got bigger pockets to keep things in. Season 3 is the last one, David. That's it. It was only a 3-season run. So
they said it was only a 3-season run, and also certain tweets from the likes of, say, Jerry Ryan have said that not just season 3 has wrapped, but they've been saying that Picard has wrapped.
Now, we did postulate last week. We did postulate last week on the show that maybe we're going to see a Stargazer show because there was a lot of effort put into that set and things for it to be one episode and then vanish.
Which I believe we were all saying with regards to the Enterprise in season 2 of Discovery before they announced Strange New Worlds. We were saying how much time, effort, and money must have been put into those sets.
So maybe a Stargazers show. Who knows? We have no confirmation on that. That's just our guess, but we were right with.
I think it would just be a shame to waste a couple of the new characters that we've discovered in Picard to just never see them again.
So, can you do your best Chris Whitty impression, James?
Next slide, please.
How are we doing with our love boat lady?
She's not seen the message, unfortunately. Cindy, if you go onto Messenger and up in the top corner somewhere on Messenger, you'll see Messenger requests.
Well, have we put it in the
Anyway,
I've put it into the stream, and our viewers have been very good and not tried joining.
Let's move quickly on. So we've got this shirt.
Look at those lightsabers.
Now, obviously, this one 7 is now Annika. And Annika is the president?
She is.
She's president
of the Confederation.
I tell you what, the costume department have got a lot to answer for those massive wellies they've stuck Jean-Luc in.
There you go, Cindy.
Completely unnecessary.
I've sent it in again, Cindy, at your request. Click on that link and we shall add you into the stream.
I'm not being funny. He's not James Herriot about to whack his hand up a cow. What have you put him in them for?
Again, this is the scene where we're at the...
This is the Eradication Day, isn't it?
Eradication Day.
All right, Mr. Elliot up top there. Be careful.
And we see in the Eradication Day, and I'm going to get through these slides because time is running away with us very quickly.
Can I stop on this slide here?
Knock, knock.
And say how absolutely...
The interrupting sheep.
The interrupting sheep. Yeah, I had to allow for your internet delay there, James. I deserve an award for that.
I have to say, both last episode and this episode, what a wonderful job they've done with Jurati's character, bringing her forward. She was, to be fair, the first scene of Picard was good. She was good in it, but she felt very much like she was just there and wasn't contributing much. The actress was okay, didn't do much. For me, she's stolen the show both these episodes. I think she's been absolutely wonderful. I think her character's come on well, and I think the actress is absolutely amazing, and she looks like she's going to do even more to bring... Light relief is not the right word. It was a scary episode. It was meant to be, and she got given the cartoon cat and all the rest of it. But it was her, and it's very similar to what they tried to do with Tilly in Discovery, and I think she's doing it much better as Jurati.
Cindy, you've just seen the message and received it. I can see it on my chat. Sorry to interrupt, Richard. Yes, Cindy, press that link. Come and join us.
Right, Richard, carry on, please.
By the way, can you name any hits by this heavy metal band?
So, in addition to Jurati, I think Raffi's character, even just, I know she's not had a lot of screen time, she's stopped being sort of angry and desperate, a bit more focused. I like her more as that. She looks more like the first officer Picard would have chosen. I like what they're doing to bring along the secondary characters. I think they're doing a really good job of it. I'm really excited to get my teeth into them a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be a really interesting relationship between Jurati and the Borg Queen. I can't wait to see what happens there.
Oh, the actress they've got to play the Borg Queen. I mean, wow. How creepy was she?
Sinister look in her eye.
Proper creepy. Oh, can we go back to that slided queue? So this is something I noticed. Yeah. Do you see the brooch he's wearing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Same as his judge one, isn't it?
Yes, same as his judge one.
Yeah. It's not, but it's a callback to it.
Well, it looks the same. Or no, it's a different colour as his judge one.
Now, if we wanted to say a very
quick... like a sort of round thing.
Cindy's with us.
Oh, hello, Cindy.
I'm wearing my Enterprise uniform. I wanted to show you this.
Okay. Oh, let's make Cindy full screen.
Right, who do we have there? Wilson Cruz, John Billingsley, and Robert Picardo.
Hi.
Hi. There's some noise coming back. You might have to mute your. Is it just me that's hearing that, or?
It's fine.
No, I've got that.
Okay, go. Hi, Cindy. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic.
I'm
And
exhausted.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
G'day. And you've been on the cruise?
I've been on the Star Trek cruise.
Amazing. We're all very jealous of you, Cindy.
Oh wow! So I mean, we are pushed for time. We'd like to have you on. Please, just first of all, tell us what was the best bit about the cruise. If you had to choose one moment you could go back to and do it again, what would it be?
Well, when I first got on the cruise, I sat down at the pool, and this African-American gentleman walked by me and asked if the chair next to me was being used. And I said no. And I looked up and I went, "That's Tim Russ." And so I started talking to the people next to me, and I was explaining to them that I didn't want to do the muster drill. And all of a sudden I hear this distinct voice, and he says, "As your chief security officer, I am asking you to do the muster drill. So complete it on your phone." And I completed it and showed it to him. And he says, "Now I'll watch your luggage, and you can go down to the muster drill station, and they will check it off, and you bring it back to me, and I'll give you back your luggage." So I went down, did the muster drill, came back up, sat back down. He says, "All right, let me check your phone." And it said on there that I had completed the muster drill. And he said, "Well, as chief security officer, I wanted to make sure that you didn't hold up the entire ship because you didn't do the muster drill."
That's a proper Bill Murray moment. That's fantastic. That's lovely. I do have to ask though, what is a mustard drill?
The mustard drill is the you practice putting the life jackets on, and they show you where your station is if you have to exit the boat because of an emergency.
When I was on the cruise, that was billed as the if you
instead
can die drill.
The actual muster drill because of the COVID.
Cool.
I've got to say, Cindy, I'm very, very impressed by your Funko Pop vinyl collection behind you there.
Yeah, most of that is Lord of the Rings.
Good shout. Good shout.
And so you saw Tim Russ, and presumably you sunbathed next to him.
Yes, and he sounded, when he was talking to me, he sounded normal. But when he said, "As your chief security officer," he sounded just like Tuvok, and my heart just started.
Very Tuvok.
You know, and I had to calm down because I didn't want to scream or pass out. But it scared me.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. Is that one of the best things about the cruise is the interaction with the stars? Do you get a lot of personal time with them, or do a lot of them stay kind of a little bit out of the way?
There's the doctor's picture.
Love that picture. They don't tend to do that one at the conventions, do they? The doctors, they'll do various captains or crew pictures and stuff. They don't tend to get the doctors from across the different series. That's a great picture.
Well, I enjoyed the cruise because I was able to see all of my friends that I met in 2018 in August at the Star Trek convention, and then 19, and then 2020 we went on the cruise. And I just, you know, we were hugging each other, and it was we're touching, and we were crying because we haven't seen each other such a long time. And it's kind of like when you guys moved, you know, back together again, where you can see each other. It was just a wonderful experience. We didn't experience any bad weather this time. I didn't exit the ship because I was too afraid to. And the stars that stayed on the ship were still entertaining us and still hanging out at the pool. And George Takei was going to the gym and passing us at the pool. And we would say, "Hi, Uncle George." And he would just laugh and keep going. I saw everybody at least once in the elevator on all the movie stars.
Amazing.
Were you able to acquire any DNA?
No.
That's Richard's priority at any event, is to acquire DNA.
I like to get a bit of DNA. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like you had an amazing time, Cindy.
We're all extremely jealous.
Who was the biggest guest, Cindy?
Well, I tried to pull you guys up on when I was on the ship so that I can put all of the Star Trek people together, but
you're too kind.
internet on the ship was really bad.
Yeah, cruise ship internet is bad and expensive. No two ways about it.
So we are going to let Cindy go now because we've got about 5 minutes to get through some more bits on the show. But thank you for coming on, Cindy.
Thank you so much, Cindy.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, Cindy.
Right, so that's goodbye to Cindy. Thank you very much. So thank you for watching. Now, what we'll do is we will quickly go through the last bits we've got. Now, I'm not sure if you know this. CBS are releasing each week a teaser for the upcoming week's Picard.
I do know this. It tends to be in the ready room with Mr. Wheaton.
It does have to be in the ready room with Mr. Wheaton. But
are you going to play a teaser?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to play the teaser.
Right.
It's a very good couple of seconds. I have seen it.
Now we're going to put this up. Anne-Marie has put Borg Nightmares galore now.
Yeah.
If you're not having
I'm interested to see what happens with Jurati and the Borg Queen. There's something going to happen there. Something. I don't think it's going to be as sinister as it's first making out either.
Let's roll VT.
Strength at 44%.
Hold on!
Allow me.
Calculating temporal trajectory. Initiating tachyon splinter radiation bursts. Neutralizing threats.
Admiral? I'm no longer in command of this ship.
I tell you what, there's so many little bits there that as a classic Trek fan, they get you going. The first contact theme in the background there for the Borg straight away is absolutely brilliantly timed.
Admiral, I am no longer in command of the vessel.
What? When did he become Indian?
Yeah, well, that was the worst Spanish impression ever, Mason. What goodness, man!
I'm no longer in control of...
Do you have a plethora of vessels that are no longer under your command?
Hang on, I think I recognise that voice. Oh, Mr.
Borg Queen.
Amazing, right. So yes, that is coming up in a couple of days' time, and I am so excited for that.
How sinister is that Borg Queen looking?
She's, do you know, when I found out they'd recast her, I was
dubious.
I had the ump a little bit because I really liked Alice Creed, and I thought, and I think she's a lovely. She's not a friend of the show, but we've met her a couple of times at conventions, and she's always got time for everyone. To be fair, she's doesn't always seem like she's in the room, if you know what I mean. But she's but she's very lovely, and you know she must be suffering from jet lag and whatnot. And I was disappointed, but my word, has this new Borg Queen absolutely killed it? She's amazing. She's so creepy. Yeah, Anne-Marie, this is why you and I should be married, Anne-Marie. This is just, yeah.
Now, in that scene, I mean, obviously, we don't know till we see it next week. You have to imagine that in the scene, because Jurati has been running the Borg Queen prison, essentially. And
no, not this Jurati.
No, but a Jurati. And in the scene there was lots of operating equipment, and they said, "Oh, you've separated from her body and stored in a tube."
Yeah.
Would the Queen have hatred towards a Jurati? It wasn't Jurati who did that, you know.
No, because that Queen's already been shown as having the temporal awareness of what's going on.
I'm not certain the Borg are capable of experiencing hate, if I'm honest with you.
Well,
I just think that new actress is nailing it. There's going to be something going on empathy-wise between the Borg Queen and Jurati.
So let's move quickly on from what's going to be Picard next week. We've got time very quickly to do this, so...
Yes, dear viewer. Now, Carl, have you lined up the clip for today?
No, Dan has the clip.
Dan, of the two clips that I sent you, which one did you use? The first one or the more recent one?
I have both.
Well, let's do the first one. So this is the one that was queued up for last week. And this is just to remind ourselves of how fantastic Jean-Luc Picard is.
Tea Earl Grey hot. Tea Earl Grey hot. Tea Earl Grey hot.
Earl Grey tea, hot.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Tea Earl Grey hot. Tea Earl Grey hot. Tea Earl Grey hot. Tea Earl Grey hot.
Of course it's hot. What do you want in it?
Nothing. Tea Earl Grey hot.
That beverage has not been programmed into the replication system.
Tea Earl Grey hot.
Replicator systems are offline at the request of
Stellar Cartography. Now, perhaps you can tell me what was so important that it required depriving the captain of his cup of Earl Grey.
Earl Grey, no wonder you can't sleep.
Tea, Earl Grey, decaf. Earl Grey, please.
Tea, Earl Grey, perhaps.
Earl Grey never fails.
Cup of Earl Grey.
That would be perfect. If you said this is Earl Grey, I'd swear that it was Darjeeling.
Tea.
Earl Grey tea, watercress sandwiches.
Your preference? We have a selection.
Earl Grey?
I knew there was something about you.
Excellent tea. Good day, ladies.
I'd like to get my hands on that fellow Earl Grey and tell him a thing or two about tea leaves.
I would like to, at this point, ask if any of the crew have ever tried or had a cup of Earl Grey tea.
Earl Grey tea is what I imagine it's like if you brew pot puree.
Okay.
I have made several Earl Greys because my pub serves fancy teas. I can't. I'm not too keen on the smell.
The smell. Yeah.
I prefer Assam personally, but Lapsang Souchong is the one you want if you want to drink potpourri.
Well, I had a cup of Earl Grey, and again, it was the bouquet that put me off, and I made the mistake of putting milk in it to try and make it drinkable, and no. Is my answer to Earl Grey.
So there we go.
Indeed. It is not awful, Linda.
I hope Linda's describing Earl Grey and not our show.
Or Picard even too. No, must be Earl Grey.
So whereabouts did we get to? I think we got to point 43.7.
Right, well, that is unfortunately time.
Well, hang on. Before you cut us off, Mason, I think Richard has several more points, but I need to raise the one that I brought up in our chat group with other people. The time index, I believe, in episode 2 of about roughly, I'm only guessing, 40 minutes and 42 seconds of a little blue holographic statue with a name rotating around the bottom and a very voice emanating from said statue on the overhead shot through the city into the Eradication Day.
Are you talking about the shot?
And you've watched it, rewatch it, listen to the voice and zoom in on the name, because I think that's a key to the next couple of episodes.
It's very clear what the name is. If you look at that
I've
shot,
not missed it. Could someone tell me? Because I missed it.
You've missed it?
Yeah. I've only been able to watch the episode
off the stream.
Hang on. No, Richard's missed it. Other people may have missed it. So let's just do this quickly.
Let's
Pay
talk
attention.
Trek, not associated.
Overhead shot as they're going into the Eradication Day ceremony. There is a blue holographic statue in the cityscape.
Like
and
this.
it is of Adam Sung. And there is a very familiar voice of one
yes,
Mr.
yeah.
Steiner.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember. Do you know what? I catalogued it, and I thought it was there just as a throwaway.
It's so easy to recognize, but
Yeah.
then it slips your mind. And I think that's a great thing about Picard. There's so many little things in there.
It's
The
what
writers are doing
happens when
so
you're
well.
42. I'm afraid you just things.
No, that's the thing though. The writers, the way it's done, this series is so good that there's all those little things that you recognise there and then and go, oh, that's interesting. But 2 minutes later, you've forgotten about it.
Awesome.
Until
Right, well,
it pops up again a few episodes down the line.
Let's
What
move.
about Mrs. Slocum's pussy? Is that coming up?
Let's move.
It's got to be in there somewhere, surely.
So let's call that a day on to this is a day show today. We're going to come back to the show again next week. So you can have
And
them
stay tuned for Let's Talk Trek Noir, which is.
Oh, are we doing that?
Yeah, it's probably straight there. I'm just going to go and inflate
yes,
Rebecca.
it's in the rotating text around the bottom of the statue. It specifies Adam Sung. I'm pretty sure that's what the name they give.
It does.
So thank you so much for watching this week. That has been Let's Talk Trek. It has been Sunday night, and we'll catch you again next week.
And thank you so much for our special guest star, Cindy.
You're welcome, David.
Yep.
More than welcome, David.
Cindy, round of applause.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy. Nice to see you, David. And
We will be
remember,
forever jealous of you, Cindy, for going on the cruise, and we all want to. And
just make sure, remember, everybody, look after yourselves and each other.